Hello everybody and welcome back to Val Verde Broadcasting. We're here to review 20th Century Films presents Disney's Disney's Predator Badlands. Because we like that kind of thing and you like that kind of thing and we do that kind of thing here. Well, did we like it? Is it good? Find out after this.
Val Verde Broadcasting.
Yes, so across county lines, like drug dealers, we both went to see Predator Badlands at 12:40. Me on Brighton Seafront and you off up in your neck of the woods in East Anglia. It was about 2 hours. I was in the Brighton Seafront Odeon smells faintly of urine. I don't think I'll be going there again. It's a bit grim.
Confirm, I've been there. Yeah,
it's nasty. It's not a nice place. But they're not showing it at the nice cinemas, so they go. Too bad for me. Now. I really liked this. I really enjoyed it. I was kind of like, I've got a lot to say, and it definitely speaks to the Disneyfication of things. And my big surprise was when the certificate come up and it said 12A, and I
had the exact same reaction. I was like, because it did in yours. Did it explain the certificates before doing that?
It did, but I didn't read it. I was just too busy going, and I didn't read that because mild peril or depictions of weather or whatever dumb shit they put in.
Well, because mine had like a U means this, PG means that, 12A means this.
Yeah, I had that too. Yeah, the animation.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, so this will be an 18. Oh no, it's a 12A.
Well, I would have thought. Well, so the thing is, I won't. We get to your opinion and stuff. 12A, I knew there was no humans in it.
Yeah. And
this is what Alien vs Predator did. Not a movie I like, but because it's monsters fighting monsters, there were people in it, but they just didn't do that properly. But because it's monster on monster action, it's a bit more forgiving. However, it's very a 12A. But I still liked it. What did you think?
I loved it. I had a good time.
Did you love it?
Yeah, it was good. It was
God,
good. I mean, there are issues that I think that are inherent to this kind of thing, and we'll get into that. But I think the strength of the plot and the characters and the writing overwhelmed it. So they're there. The issues are there, but you just think, well, I didn't care because I was having too good a time.
Yeah, it's a good old time, isn't it? It's a fun blockbuster. What I would say, just to get out, because I think at the top of talking about a Predator film, there's always going to be things about the rating and stuff. One thing that did annoy me, because it's like monsters getting cut up and sliced, and there's no humans in it. There are human actors playing androids.
Yeah.
When the androids die, like all sparks come out instead of pissing out white milk blood, which I think was a cop out. Because it's like, well,
there was one moment where sort of a milk splatter.
Oh
happened,
yes, with the device and the yes, okay. Yeah. But the rest they kind of like it was very bloodless in a milk sense. But I thought it was fantastic. Like the first scene, I had quite low expectations of this, really, or middling expectations for the setting and stuff. And the first scene, I was like, I don't know, it's a bit dark and it just feels like sort of fan film guff. And then that scene took a turn that was the inciting incident for the movie, and I was like, okay.
It had a lot to its work cut out to win me over from that opening text scroll that starts with the word Yautja. I was like, you are good, and then it went Yautja Prime, and I was like,
I could hear your piss boil from 4 counties away, like from the other side of London. I could hear your urine steaming out of your hog's eye. What's that? They did, because this is the thing. I was ready for it because the animated one did it. Do you remember the Dan Trachtenberg animated one did it? But it's just the amount of Woolworths Yautjas and HMV Yautjas and Luncheon Yautjas. You know what I mean? There's so many Yautjas. But I guess that's the Predator world we live in now.
At one point, I was like, "There's no point in getting annoyed about this anymore because it's here to stay." So
we've lost. We're on the losing side of history, Duncan. That's what happens. That's what it feels like.
You got to call them something. You know what I mean? Like it's you got to call them something. So you might as well call them that.
And in the context of because I mean, this is very different from Prey, but I think what I really liked and really identified with. But I really enjoyed, like Prey had very clear thesis and very clear themes, and this has callbacks to Prey because Prey like to continually show you the kind of food chain and hierarchy in variously subtle and unsubtle ways, and this is a callback to that at the very, very beginning. It felt more like a Star Wars film or a Star Trek film than a Predator film. It was very like a kind of comedy, not comedy, but a light-hearted action-adventure kind of tone more than a kind of horror action thing. But this had a very, to me, and I think it's what Dan Trachtenberg does well, has a very, very clear thesis and themes, and it's about rejecting a toxic family and reconstituting a new one and rebuilding yourself. And they're hunting a monster that rebuilds itself. The android has to rebuild itself. Deck rebuilds himself and recreates all his predator toys from things he finds in nature. And he's able to, and they create their clan, as they call it. So there's just a very clear, satisfying narrative through line and characters that you really root for. I really like Deck. Deck's cool. I want more Deck. Don't take that out of context and edit it. It sounds wrong.
Give me all your dick.
I want all your dick.
I couldn't agree more. And I think that's what I remember thinking. Thank you for actually concerning yourself. This is what I mean. Was like any of the nitpicky stuff. It's like, don't let that get in the way of, like I like you say, it's got a really strong theme. It doesn't beat you over the head with it. It's not sort of sanctimonious. It's still entertaining, but there's something to latch on. There's a very human story at the heart of something with no humans in it, and that's brilliant because, and like I said, there's about the sci-fi and all these things. It's like we've always said it a million times, but it's about these heightened realities allowing you to examine the human condition more, and perfect, absolutely, like no notes on that front. I thought it was so solid with all its stuff and the imagery, and like you say, the monster that he's trying to take as a trophy is literally just can reconstitute itself all the time, and and rebuilding is the theme of the film all the way through, and it's at every level. And I just think that's what the script of Prey was very good at, was just kind of having a very clear narrative through line and a real way into the characters, and just what it felt a lot like. I mean, let's just assume there'll be spoilers. It felt like a kind of 90s Dark Horse comic in a good way. And I think the way into humanizing the Predator as kind of rejecting its culture was really interesting and a good way in. And he's characterized as kind of deadpan. His writing is very like sort of Mr. Worf. He's got that kind of Klingon warrior culture, deadpan stuff going on, which is played for laughs. I think they did... there are bits of it that I thought Elle Fanning was amazing, and it's a dual performance from her, and she's two. Well, it's her and the guy who plays the other android, because it's just two people playing this army of, which is so good.
It's great. There's loads of action men being blown up. But she's really good. Like, I forgot what my point was. Oh, Christ!
Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's quite right. That's quite right. Jesus, I completely lost it. Sorry,
that's my fault.
No, it's fine. Don't worry. It's because I went to a wedding on Monday and I got very drunk, and I'm 41, so I'm on a 4-day hangover. There are things. That was it. Yes, sorry, I remember where I was. It was in danger of being a bit too light-hearted and wacky sometimes. There's a little bit where Elle Fanning was like kind of like, okay, she could have stopped about a line ago and it'd still work. Slightly sitcom. Yeah. And then they've got the little monkey from the Lost in Space movie. Ba 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 in there. And that was in danger as well. That's very on a fine line of kind of like bloop 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 kind of wacky creature stuff. But what was good was that creature came and then was benched for quite a bit, which is good, because I think too much of that creature is too much, because they wanted a baby Yoda or a Groot. Kind of felt like
I guess so. I mean, it's but its exit and then re-entry were also done for a reason. It wasn't just done.
Very important to the plot. It's very good at doing that. There's loads of something else that they touch on, like, and this is like the concept of a death planet in science fiction is a very old, well-worn thing, and naturally, like, putting a predator on a death planet, perfect, no notes. That's a spot-on place. That's where a predator should be. And just the version of the death planet was like, even the grass is made of razors, and there are little kind of slugs that explode like a bomb. And there's like everything is so unbelievably deadly, and you haven't even met the big monster yet, which I thought was really nice.
Definitely, I mean, it all worked really well, all that stuff, and I love the sort of I would have said, like, with all these things, like taking the antagonist of a monster movie and turning it into the protagonist is always dicey. It's always, we've said it a million times, but like, don't do that. That's a really, these things aren't inherently interesting, and that's where some of my gripes would come from for this. But, and I will get to that. But they did it. I mean, I in spite of myself. I mean, when it opens on that sort of really dark fight that it's really incoherent, and I was going, I can't tell who's who. This isn't, where's this going? And then, and I think, but it was a good setup for what, what was to come from that character, and the fact that it's all sort of is family dynamics. It's and it's hard if you explain that to someone. I think they'd go, and it's obviously a very heavily subtitled film, so you've got to be, but actually it is worth it, and I think it does a really good job of not overshooting a lot of that stuff. Like, I think it's like it knows we know what they are. It's just giving us a very small family story within that culture. So we don't need to explore it desperately. If you've never seen a Predator film before, you can still follow it. But there's,
I was thinking that when I was going home, I was kind of like, can you imagine? It's kind of like, oh, we took the kids to watch this thing, Predator Badlands. It's really good. Turns out there's some more. Should we watch them? Oh no, don't do that. Don't do it that way.
They're on Disney though.
Yeah. Next to all those Marvel films that the kids like.
Yeah.
Chuck that on. Yeah. Voodoo Man. It's a family drama, isn't it? In the context, and I think that's the thing, because I think a lot of people are going to really hate it. I think a lot of people of our demographic are going to really hate it. I just have this feeling. I think because it's not like a kind of 18 rated violent, because Prey had that. I'm not sure. I hope not. I'm just, because sometimes I walk out and go, that was great, and then people go like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen, I hate it, and I'm just kind of like, oh, that's sad, like, that's a shame. I think so. I hope not. I think, because I had such a good time with it, and by the end, I was so fucking rooting for these characters. I was so rooting for them. I was like, I wanted them to do well and everything, and I really cared. And I was like, fuck, man, you've taken me on a journey with these guys, and it's been actually quite sweet and quite heartfelt and, like I say, very human. And it's taking, and I just think the way into that is clever. It's kind of like, you have to have a member of that culture rejecting it and making its own version for that to work, because otherwise.
Well, he's also rejected by them, right? Because that's the whole thing. Is
and the same with Elle Fanning as well. She's rejected by them, and she rejects them back, and they, go on. And the only ones who have a functional family relationship are the monsters, who are actually just minding their own business. Like, and there's a sweet mother-son thing. And the supposed antagonist of the movie isn't, and I just say it's a really tight script, and I think there's loads of setup and payoff, very clear kind of through lines and narrative structure and characterization, and I just didn't think I'd be watching Predator as a kind of feel-good action blockbuster, 12A action blockbuster, but here we are.
If you said to me, if you gave me all those sort of constituent parts and said, this is what we're planning to do with this film, I'd have been like, no, come on, no. Like, no friggin' way, that is not going to work. Like, no, like, because it has echoes on paper of Alien versus Predator, in the sense of, we're just, turning all that down. And what I love about it is it sort of sets itself up to fail in a way, and then just wins you over. Like, it's just, the writing is on point. Everything he's put through, like, I love, like you say, like the Death Planet. There's a lot of like, stop fighting, stop resisting. That's the sort of character arc, is like to stop resisting.
Yeah. And
like he goes around, he like you say, he finds facsimiles of all the basic Predator weapons that he finds in nature, which is so cool. He kind of, did he make the wrist blades out of the
grass?
Yeah, as well. At the end, that was so cool.
Very cool. And the kind of the tamed acid spitting snake and everything, and it's a kind of I don't need you. Yeah. Kind of thing. I can do it myself. Which in itself is similar, because I can't remember whatever Amber Midthunder's character's called in Prey. That's a kind of family drama story as well, because she's not viewed as worthy, and that's the point of that film. So it shares that narratively, and then it has things like the bone. What are you wearing? Bone bison. That's lovely. But it has all the kind of grazing, kind of wildlife and stuff that you saw a lot in Prey. Yeah. So it feels very spiritually connected to that film, which is good, because like, having watched that animated thing, I'm not interested in Frozen Danny Glover, and I mean, whatever, I don't care really about that, and I was worried this might be a bit about that sort of thing, where in actual fact it's really doing its same thing, and it is very matter of fact about like, well, in Yutania here, there's not kind of like...
I was waiting for like an alien to burst out of something, and then I sort of realised, no, you're above that. You're not doing that. I know that Trachtenberg probably got notes from the studio to do it, in all likelihood, and just said no. We're not doing that.
We're not doing that. That didn't happen, which is really good, really, really good, because it has all those things without. And again, if you haven't seen an Alien or a Predator film, it doesn't matter. Yeah. And actually, the depiction of the company was really good. There's a mother, and that's the kind of there are shared parental figures across every faction, including the monster. There's a mother, and the mother comes in at the end.
Yeah,
mother,
and
the
then
computer, the mother,
and then his mother comes in.
And the depiction of the company as well, because I think there's too much over-explaining the company, but it's the company just going like, you have to retrieve the specimen, failure's not an option type thing, and just on the screen, and it doesn't get too involved in that. I think one thing that all I ever wanted from like, this is the best Alien versus Predator movie, and there's no aliens in it, like, which is not hard, but I just wanted it set in this time period. I don't give a shit about a bunch of people in a pyramid under the earth in 2004, and I certainly don't care about small town Colorado in 2007 or whatever the fuck that second movie was. Like, I wanted this era. Because every depiction that was in the games and the comic, well, most of the depictions of the games and the comics were set in the kind of Colonial Marines, Weyland-Yutani era of things, and bringing the Predator there is very easy. So I just wanted that, and I got that now. And
I'm assuming that was budgetary back in the early 2000s. I'm assuming it was just budgetary reasons,
because they didn't. Setting it in space would have been, like a horribly expensive enterprise in 2004. Or making a good movie would have been really hard in 2007 or whenever the second one came out.
That's true. Yeah. There are moments in it where they're walking across landscapes and stuff, and they've done a good job of like putting mats in behind with like, mountains and what have you. But I was like, that's probably like Shropshire Dales or somewhere. They've just to get that.
I was a little bit, when they first started advertising this, my big concern was, it's like, this is cool, but it's really going to look like I'm going to be taken out of this by people stood around in front of green screens and LED volumes. And there is a lot of that necessarily, but equally there's some like waterfalls and stuff, and they copy, like, there's all these waterfalls, and there's like things that are definitely happening. There's like I'll call it a drone shot, so I'm not sure if it's real. There's a really nice kind of drone shot where it kind of takes off and flies around. It made me go out of focus. There's like a dolly zoom on deck at the very, very end. I will say it's something that I liked a lot, that did let me down slightly, is like, there was hardly any fan service in this, which was really nice. I mean, you could argue the Weyland-Yutani stuff is that, but it's actually quite important to the plot. All the Weyland-Yutani stuff is intrinsic to the story. So, like, when Evil Elf Fanning turned up in a power loader, I was a bit like, okay.
Don't do it. I was going like, because there's that glory shot of her walking in, I was like, don't say it. And they didn't, which is good.
So they got some class. Yeah. And I was a bit like, okay, I get it, because, in Alien, it makes sense thematically, because it's a corruption of what happened in Aliens, because Ripley was the good mother, because that's a film about good mothers and bad mothers, and she was the good mother, and that's kind of reversed. It's kind of like the bad member of the family. So I get it, but I was a bit kind of like, okay. But then, and also, it's kind of quite subtle, I suppose, but Deck's kind of all is lost moment is him going over a waterfall, which is what happens to Arnie and Predator.
There were a lot of callbacks, but because and her following the trail of blood is very much like the first Predator.
But it didn't go or anything like that. No one gets called an ugly motherfucker or anything like that.
There's no rehashing of that, which was great. I went in thinking I was just irked that I had to leave the house, to be honest, and I was sort of thinking, oh god,
because Prey went straight to Disney, didn't it? I just watched that at home when Prey came out.
Well, I would watch it at home, except my TV's bloody broken, which is annoying. I've got the box here, stupid. Don't ever buy a Samsung. That's all I'll say. Fucking thing. It's only like 3 years old anyway. I digress. Bitterness alley. So I was kind of like, all right, fine. Went in. I was like, I had a coffee, sat down. I was like, this is not, endured the adverts, and then One With Me came on as well. It was weird.
Oh, One with Echo Quarty came on for me, and he's someone I've worked with a lot.
Which one?
You know the guy with the "you could send your friend a free Cadbury's bar" guy?
Oh yeah, of course.
Like, I've worked with him in a couple of movies. So, okay, look, we've got name dropping. Duncan's name dropping himself. I'm name dropping a fine Shakespearean / comedy actor that's flogging chocolate. Aren't we famous? Look at us.
Yeah. But and I like I say, I just said the best time. It doesn't over. I think it's an hour and 40 something minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, the most egregious thing, like you say, was the ads. Like the movie itself clipped along, and I really needed a wee, but I was able to. I was like, I can't miss a second of this, and I calculated that probably by the time I took that wee, I would have missed the whole like deck tool up sequence. So which included him charming a snake, which was
which is sort of like reminiscent of Predator, you know, when he's like, there were other shots as well when he's making the little rope thing to wear Elle Fanning on his back.
I love the whole Chewbacca C-3PO of that.
Yeah,
it's great. The sequence when her legs go walkabout. I enjoyed all of the android stuff in this significantly more than anything that the Alien franchise has been trying to do with androids for the last 15 years. All of it was just so much more enjoyable, and it's way more kind of surface level, admittedly. But there is, you know, the concept of them being given feelings so they can abuse their empathy and stuff like that. It's really good, and you know, the lack of humanity of non-human things, which then causes the non-human things to find humanity in a film with an absence of humans. I just think it's really fun and really clever. Again, I just watched a fucking, like, I should be so mad about a 12A Predator film, you know, blockbuster kind of thing, but that was great. Loads of fun. Great action adventure with a bit of heart.
Do you think the Predator, you know, Predator is in a sort of Creed way, is a way of, like, it's the way of looking into the Alien universe and being able to view it from a slightly, because I just find with the Alien films, it feels like they have to be so po-faced because the first one is seen as this unassailable. The only one that sort of arguably delved into a bit of comedy was Alien Resurrection. Alien, what was it called? Resurrection.
Yeah, Resurrection pushes that.
The fourth one.
The third one certainly doesn't. Unbelievably grim film.
So I guess they're sort of seen as these sort of highfalutin type arty films.
They're kind of high art blockbusters, aren't they? You're not supposed to enjoy yourself.
And I think that's the problem. And so when you come along with stuff like Romulus, and it's kind of like you can't. I don't know. And there's
give me Dan Trachtenberg Alien versus Predator movie. Don't give a shit.
Yeah.
All this stuff that's going on, you know, Alien Earth, Romulus. I don't care. Give me my Dan Trachtenberg. I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. I want a bit more. Yeah. Give me some more adventures with Deck first, and then we'll talk. But
I mean, the great thing as well was it's you know, I suppose like Predator movies do this anyway, so I'm glad it did it. But you know, plucking a Predator out of Yautja Prime and putting them somewhere else is a good, you know, because you would hate to have to explore his character there. Because and I will say this, like the Yautja Prime planet is just like it's a bit like what happened with Deadpool and Wolverine. It's like a lot of this just feels like a desert.
I did find that quite underwhelming as a thing, and it did look like the junkyard from Deadpool versus Wolverine. It's like, okay, all right.
I mean, it's functionally the same, but I mean, so nitpicky stuff, if I may.
Please, we have to give some negatives because we have
to give some negatives.
Overwhelmingly positive so far,
And I will say this, like I say, it's one of those things where all these things are inherent to what I would have said would be the problem anyway. You know, by trying to make a protagonist out of what, you know, a movie monster. So, and they're there, but again, like I say, everything else just overwhelms it. But it's nitpicky stuff like, I suppose the problem, again, the problem with the Predator is like you've shown its limitations in the first film, so those can be overcome. You know, so its weakness is the fact that it sees in infrared. So if you cover yourself in that, it can't see you. But then in this, he's got like headlights on his bike. Why? He's got like when he's fighting tree monsters, it's like, how do you see those? You know, there's loads of instances where I'm like, what you're looking at shouldn't have any heat signature.
There's one perspective shot where he's wearing his mask at the very beginning, and then because I remember thinking, I think it was during the. I mean, my thing is like,
I don't care.
I'll kind of allow it. Like that bit in Predator where it takes its mask off and that's how it naturally sees. It needs to be able to wipe its own arse. Like, so whatever a Predator brain interprets that red mush, that's fine. I'll wave that off. Like, that's always been a problem because it's like, it's got to like be able to, you know, do normal day-to-day things without that thing. So, you know, but absolutely, I get it. And there was a real, because I usually get quite frustrated about things that don't really. I think it's important quite often to share music and other tonal things Like you can even go as crazy to like say like the same film stocks, try and get a certain like in the days when that was the case. The same DOP or whatever, but in this it's kind of like it was ploughing so much of its own furrow. I was like, yeah, you go Predator Badlands, you do whatever the fuck you want. Very weird title drop, 20 minutes in.
Yeah. Well, there was like a prologue, and then at the end there's a title, and then but it hasn't finished yet.
It hasn't finished.
I was like,
yeah, it's still going. Yeah, it's still going.
Why did you show me that?
And then it does another title card at the end, and then has a bit more film.
Yeah.
I mean, my thing is, I did think it pushed the lightheartedness a bit too far sometimes. Like from time to time, it was like the wacky kind of space monkey was like, okay, there's a little bit too much of this, and you're in danger of having like a schnarf, you know, like or an orco, like a slimer, and it's like, but then they kind of bench that creature for a bit. And some of Elle Fanning's stuff is kind of like, okay, you're doing the wacky Chandler Bing stuff a bit too much. You just need to stop that a little bit. But she was so good, and in dual roles, I thought she was fantastic, like and really likable as well. As was Deck, because that performance is really, I guess, that guy's eyes, which have then been CGI'd over, but it still be his expression and stuff, and was really. I'm unclear as to how much of that obviously is him, how much is puppetry. Obviously, the neck down will be entirely his physicality. In terms of what's going on with his face, they even make him smile at one point. That works really well because it's kind of hard to tell, but just from a lot of that's context. But you're able to see kind of pain and fear and anger and shame and guilt and everything through whatever this is, CGI mask, like contact lens. I don't really know.
I think a lot of it had to have been CG. I think
in this day and age, you would hope, right? Because
I think a lot of the face and everything was. You'd see they've obviously put more effort into making things move in a more organic way. But there was a moment where. What did she say? She's like, "Oh, what was your favourite part about it?" And he's like, "When I stabbed the creature and the blood ran down my face." And he just went like, and he just gave this little like, a little nod, and it just worked perfectly.
And she,
I thought it was a great way.
She's like, "Cool," or like, whatever.
Yeah. She's cool. So it was full of great, and again, like I say, all those things. It treads that amazingly razor sharp fine line of being like, this could be far too much. You know, it could so easily be, and like you say, it teeters at times. It goes, there was one bit of continuity that bothered me when they're in that sort of transport thing, and there's a lot of he's strapped to the table and they're having the two back and forth, and then towards the end of that, she's like calling in her lackeys, but there's one in the room that you didn't see, but it was just stood there, and I was like, where did you come from? Okay. It was obviously like something they've cut around for time.
Happened there.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a bit weird, but apart from that. But yeah, like I say, I just think there's niggles, and and that opening fight is indecipherable.
It's far too dark. I was worried we were in for just a far too dark, because Alien Romulus had bits that were just far too dark, and it's kind of the modern.
Yeah.
And then that thing in that opening fight scene between Deck and his brother, very dark, and then it's two basically identical silhouettes. One's a lot taller, but you can't tell that when they're falling down cliffs and slam each other around. So I was like, oh fuck, it's not going to be like this, is it? Because that's an annoying way to spend 2 hours. But it turns out that was not the case, which is good. It was a rollicking good time, wasn't it? I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I was surprised. I grinned a bunch of times, and then at the end I was kind of like,
I remember us saying, I think when we talked about the trailer, it was like we both liked Prey, but we just couldn't see how this could work. We were like, how are you going to make this work? This is just too like dopey, and who does it? But then again, you see, if you're smart and you go into it going, that's what people are going to think, because it's never been done right before. It's really hard to do. I've got to think of, and that's great. You could, creativity, it comes from giving yourself limitations like that. And I thought, it was just, and there's lots of great action and special effects and all that stuff, which is fine. But it didn't bother me. I because what I quite liked about the small creature, was that it turns out that is the thing he's been looking for all the time, and of course there's another theme that he sort of discovers that what he was looking for is actually in front of him. What's it called? The Calax or something?
Oh, bollocks.
What was it called?
I can't remember. It's the
Kallax
unkillable monster from the space death planet. I can't remember what it's called.
But yeah, and so and he's been searching for that the whole time, and it turns out it was right in front of him. And Elle Fanning. I've just no notes. I mean, this is the thing. This review's a bit boring, really, but
it is. There's nothing to be mad about. I just have it. We had a good time. Like, it was fun. Go see it. Would you?
Here's a question for you. Would you play? See, if I ask myself, would I stick this on over Predator? If I'm just wanting like a blokey night to myself with a few beers and stuff, would I watch this or Predator? It's so hard because those films now exist in a realm that's like, we appreciate them not necessarily for, like, this has a better. I would argue this has a more cohesive story and themes, and there's more bombastic effects and all the things in this more so than the first one. The first one's obviously a product of its time.
But they're so different, aren't they? That's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so like. The choice between watching this and Predator is like the choice between watching Terminator and, say, Iron Man. Like they're both, but it's kind of. I think this is what Terminator Genesis wishes it was. Like it was desperately trying to do what this has pulled off. So like I because then I was just, as soon as you said that, it didn't even occur to me to try and rank these among the Predator films, and it's like it's really weird that I don't. What I got from this is not what I go to Predator films for, so I can't put it alongside those. Like I can't. Is this better? And just as a hypothetical, I happen to quite like Predators, as you know. Is this better than Predators?
Yes.
Well, no. In my opinion, I know. It's better than Predator 2.
I agree, though. I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. But it's not doing. It's so different. It's not doing the same thing. So it's really hard to be like.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
I wouldn't be. Yeah. If I was choosing between Predator and Predators, and one of the criticisms is that it's doing the same thing, but I'd say the same with Predator 2. That's a really hard choice if you like both of those movies because they do the same thing, and you want kind of masculine infused sort of sweaty horror action stuff. And this is not that. This is kind of quite a fun, cute action adventure, which is quite surprising. So I don't really think it competes with those other movies in that sense. In terms of fighting for my time and attention, it's like I would put this on, and I could put this on with some kids. Which is real kind of weird.
I mean, kind of, yeah. I mean, it is a bit scary for
older kids. But
kids. Like a 12-year-old probably could watch it, and it'd just be like.
They see worse in like fucking Fortnite and whatever. Like, they're fine.
But yeah, I think. Do you know what? As well, like I think the great thing, like you say, the first one is an Arnie vehicle. It's a product of the '80s. It's very much most of that film, and what a lot of us love about it is it's an Arnie action film. It's Arnie in the army until the end, and then you know what I mean. Like it just because really you don't see it. Okay, you see bits of it and there's stuff going on, but it's not it's only sci-fi really because the antagonist is from space. So it doesn't. So that film and arguably the second film as well to a lesser degree sort of does that. And then Predators is what it is. It's not, I don't hate it, but it's
the same thing. It's the same thing as Predator, really.
It's ostensibly the same
in the
thing.
jungle, like it's that
in a jungle rough.
In a jungle rough. I've got the key. I've got the secret. So it's kind of. I find it really hard to then play.
But that's what I love about it because what I love about this as well is obviously you've got the kind of stripping him of he hasn't even earned his cloaking. Oh, that's another nitpick of mine. How do predators cloak from each other? I thought the point of the cloak was that for animals or whatever, or beings that see in our spectrum of light, if they can see heat.
He wasn't wearing a mask at the end. That's
right.
Best I got. Well, because like the heat vision with the mask is a lot better than the kind of red. I kind of choose to believe the red thing again is how his brain interprets that. I don't know, but
Can they cloak from each other? I don't know, but it would. To explain that away would just take me out. But what was I saying? Stripping him of all this stuff is obviously what you're doing to the character. That's what you do with characters is you strip them of all their accoutrements so that you can watch them build themselves back up. Fine, that as a thematic device, that's great. But what's also great about it is it means we're not watching Predator. So it's not. He's not. There isn't the whole hidden cloaking or so by, do you know what I mean? So by sort of stripping it of Predator, he just looks like a Predator.
Has his sword.
That's it. Yeah,
that's new. He has his little shuriken thing as well, but like the sword.
is that new, bow that he loses.
Oh yeah, he
pretty
loses
early
straight
on.
away. Yeah, so he's not. And then watching it in context, Deck's design fully makes sense.
Yeah,
It totally makes sense in context. He's kind of like, yeah, he's a runt. He hasn't earned his stripes. He's young, so his hair's not quite the same, and everything. And it's just kind of like, yeah, this all adds up. This all makes sense. I get it. And then he has to rebuild his own version, and it's like the thing really about having kind of it's bushcraft and a mastery of nature, which kind of plays into all the primal imagery of Predator and everything. And yeah, it was fucking great. It was well good.
It really
and
was.
we both went
It was
on a
so good.
Friday lunchtime on our own. And there were lots of other
sacked
strange
off work.
middle-aged men in my screening. I was just one of
Oh,
many
there was
strange middle-aged men.
elderly couples in mine,
Oh.
which I was like, really? The kind of couples who obviously they take a flask of tea and a sandwich, and they go and enjoy whatever's just come out. I think
They probably got like an unlimited card or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Watch whatever's
yeah,
relevant.
no, it was really nice, and it was lovely to get to the cinema. I really, do enjoy going. I must try and just force myself to go more. It's just hard.
We're just
with
happy
little
to have a
kids
day
and
out,
all,
aren't we,
isn't
Duncan, at this point in life? Just have to get out of the house.
Yeah.
Out in society. Imagine.
Yeah, it was nice as well because this week we've just had illness and childcare, like kids off school and stuff with illness, and it's just been a nightmare.
Grim.
So it was just nice to get out and do something,
I've been
And I had a Big Mac.
You have a Polish Big Mac? Oh, did you have the fries?
Had a Big
Did you have
Mac.
a drink as well?
No, just had the Big Mac.
Oh, that's a healthy.
Yeah.
Salad. Okay, well, so in an ideal world, I mean, we're ideally both going to go see Running Man next week. Ideally.
Yeah.
We'll have
Is that out on Friday as well?
I believe so. Yes, Friday the 14th.
I'll try
of
and
the
get
year
to
of our
that.
Lord. If you can't do it, I'll do it on my own.
Oh no, I can't. Sorry, I just realised I can't. It's my wife's. It's my wife's 40th birthday next weekend, and we're so probably.
I
can't
will
go.
be doing a review of Running Man next Friday that I will
Sorry.
deliver to your sweaty palms. Yeah, that's it. We hope you enjoyed this. We really enjoyed Predator Badlands. Just to get ahead of the comments, yes, I touch my earphones a lot because they've been kind of sweaty and trying to fall out. So I get ahead of that. And I tried to censor all my glugs of tea, but I haven't done this in a while, so I forgot. So I'll get ahead of that note as well.
I didn't.
He did,
So.
no. And I've been farting
Oh,
into
shit.
a pillow, so that was kind of like a natural muffler. If you liked this, you can like and subscribe. Follow us on TikTok. We're not on there. Follow us on Twitter. We might be on there. I don't think we are anymore. Follow us on Facebook. So thanks very much for joining us. We love you. And we'll be back next week with more. Anything to say, Duncan, before we encore?
No, not really. No, we're just going to try and, as we've always said, we're trying to get back on things as best we can. I think we're going to try and do a commentary soon. Maybe if I say that on this, that'll keep a gun to
Well,
our
then
head
there's a
and
gun
we'll
to our
actually
head. That's kind of what I did with the Running
Yeah.
Man thing. I've kind of made a self-fulfilling prophecy on myself.
do it. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, we'll try and get maybe next week at some point. We'll try
sure.
and
I've got
grab
lots of free time
a couple
next week,
hours.
so
and-
that's fine.
Yeah, great.
That's
there you go.
fine.
Perfect.
Okay, well,
Lovely stuff.
goodbye.